Is on the line. Hey, Margarita, how are you?
Hi, Dave and Anthony. How are you guys doing?
Oh, well, great. How can we help?
So I'm pretty new to your whole program, but I have a question about student loans and property. So a little background. My husband and I, we've been married for about a year. We're both 23. He works at a consulting firm, and we both make about $130,000 after taxes. We have about $80,000 in student loans, and our rent is about $2,000 a month. As you know, Arlington is pretty expensive, but we really want to buy a house. So I guess my question is, should we go about buying a house first and looking in different areas, or should we tackle those student loans now?
You're 80K in a hole right now, so we're focusing on the student loans, and I'm doing the math right now. So you have $80,000 in student loans. Is that your only debt?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So you make $130,000 net. You're spending about how much are you spending on rent right now?
2,000.
2,000, right? So you're spending $24,000 a year on rent, another $10,000 in expenses. So doing the math, you can honestly have this paid off within about 18 months if you really aggressively go at it. And so now that's not bad. Now you're in your 20s.
How long have you been married?
In December, it's going to be our 1-year anniversary.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's the route I'm going. And I want to say this as a young person. I didn't purchase my first house until I was, maybe 32, Dave? 32? And I had the capabilities, financial capabilities to do it at about 28. But I said I wanted to do it right. And when I walked into my house, it was in a peaceful way. And I was not wasting any money in my 20s renting because I wasn't ready to purchase a home.
Margarita, when I first got married, the first property that we rented, which is where you're living right now, we rented way too expensive. Arlington is expensive, but you rented too expensive a place for a newlywed couple.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a nice place.
Yeah, $2,000.
I mean, you really do. And so if I were you, I would move down in property so that I'm paying less for my patients, and I would be debt-free in 18 to 24 months living on a beans and rice and beans budget where your broke friends are making fun of you. Because if you try to keep up with the Joneses in D.C., you're going to be broke your whole life.
True.
Because the Joneses in D.C. are nuts. So you just, they're nuts. It's a whole, it's L.A. L.A. and D.C., the biggest put on the dog world there is.
That's
and
true.
So you just got to say, we are 23 years old. We're going to take 2 years and get out of debt and build an emergency fund, and we're going to live in a less than ideal place for less than $2,000, and we're going to pile up a big pile of cash, and then when we buy a house at 26, we're going to put down a huge down payment, and we're going to be in a whole different place than those YOLO friends of ours who are making fun of us.
Yeah.
Because, YOLO is the new way of saying, thank God it's Friday, oh God, it's Monday.
Right.
Spend everything we make, have no money.
Right.
You make good money. You're in an expensive area, but this is very, very doable. It is very unwise to buy a home where you have to buy an extra bedroom for Sally Mae. It's a really good idea to give her eviction notice while you're still a renter. Yeah. You're debt-free. You have an emergency fund. You move in with a good, strong down payment, and then you can quote Anthony, when I walked into the house, there was a sense of peace.
Sense of peace.
But if you move into a house with an $80,000 student loan and you're 24 years old and you've been married a year and a half at that point, 2 years, and you're broke, but you make $130,000 a year. What are you, freaking Congress?
Yeah.
You spend everything you make just to look like you're not broke. And I'll tell you what will happen. Sally Mae will move in the bedroom, and 3 weeks later, the heat and air will go out on this new place. Yeah. And you'll find out the difference between renting and owning then is you get to do the repairs.
You know what, Dave? I get a lot of pushback from people who say, you know what, I'm wasting money by renting, and I'm wasting money by paying off my student loans.
Wasting money by paying off student loans?
Yes, because they're like, well, hey.
Elizabeth Warren's going to pay them?
It goes back to the government. Like, why pay them if they're going to be forgiven? And if they're not required to be paid right now, why pay them?
Because they're not going to be forgiven, and you're going to be saddled with them the rest of your life, and they're the major impediment between you and building wealth.
There you go, Dave.
That's the bottom line.
I didn't tee you up for
the
that.
problem with believing a fantasy is it'll screw up your finances.
Yes, sir.
And when you believe DC is going to solve your problem,
You have a huge problem.
if you believe politicians of either party are going to solve your problem,
Yeah.
then you have just condemned yourself to a life of mediocrity.
Right.
Because I've been sitting around waiting for people to send me money out of DC for 60 years. I still hadn't got any.
Me neither.
All I've ever seen is they take money.
Yeah.
They don't give money. They're a tick on my butt. Yeah. They're a parasite.
But
So,
then, and here-
unbelievable.
Then on the flip side, Dave, a lot of people think, especially I'm seeing this younger generation wanting to jump into purchasing a home, but they're not in a position and ready to purchase a home. So
The home
sometimes
becomes a curse instead of a blessing.